Déjà vu, as you are in the middle of a completely normal moment and then something shifts. The scene feels familiar in a way that does not make sense. You are certain you have experienced this exact moment before, even though you know you have not. Déjà vu is the sensation that a current experience has already happened before, even when it clearly has not. It creates a strong feeling of familiarity that conflicts with logical awareness. This occurs due to a temporary mismatch in how the brain processes incoming information. Normally, new experiences move through short-term processing before being stored as long-term memory. In this case, the process overlaps. The brain mistakenly tags a new experience as something already stored. The temporal lobe, which plays a key role in memory processing, is believed to contribute to this misrouting of signals. The result is a brief but convincing illusion where the present moment feels like a replay, even though it is happening for the first time. Jamais vu. As you look at a word you have seen countless times, suddenly it feels unfamiliar. The letters seem strange, disconnected, almost incorrect, as if you are seeing them for the first time. Jamais vu is the opposite of déjà vu. Instead of something new feeling familiar, something familiar suddenly feels unfamiliar. This often occurs during repetition. When the same word or action is processed repeatedly, the neural pathways involved can temporarily fatigue. The brain continues to see or hear the input, but the connection to its meaning weakens. This creates a disconnect where recognition fails, even though the information is known. The experience feels unnatural because the brain is processing the input without trusting its own interpretation. Tip of the tongue phenomenon. You are about to say something simple. The idea is clear, the meaning is there, but the word itself refuses to appear. It feels close, almost accessible, but no matter how hard you try, it stays just out of reach. This occurs when you are unable to retrieve a word or name, despite being certain you know it. Memory retrieval involves multiple components, including meaning, sound, and structure. In this situation, the meaning is successfully accessed, but the sound structure of the word does not fully activate. Partial details, such as the first letter or rhythm, may still be available. The brain has located the correct information, but cannot fully retrieve it, creating a temporary block in access. Childhood amnesia. You try to remember your earliest memory. You can recall fragments, faces, places, maybe a feeling, but nothing clear or complete from your earliest years. Childhood amnesia refers to the inability to recall memories from early childhood, typically before the age of 3 or 4. This happens because the hippocampus, which is responsible for forming long-term memories, is still developing during early life. At the same time, language skills are not fully established, making it difficult to encode experiences in an organized way. Without proper encoding, these early experiences are not stored in a retrievable format. The events occurred, but the brain did not yet have the capacity to record them effectively. False memories. You remember something clearly. The details feel real, consistent, and familiar. Later, you realize parts of it never actually happened. False memories are recollections of events that either did not happen or are remembered inaccurately. Memory is not a fixed recording. Each time it is recalled, it is reconstructed. During this process, missing details can be filled with assumptions, suggestions, or external input. Over time, these additions become integrated into the memory itself. The brain prioritizes building a complete and consistent narrative, even if that means altering the original details. Mandela Effect. You recall a specific detail exactly as you remember it. Then you find out that many others remember it the same way, but it is still incorrect. The Mandela Effect occurs when multiple people share the same incorrect memory. This happens because the brain relies on patterns and expectations when processing information. When details are unclear, the brain fills gaps using familiar or logical assumptions. Social reinforcement strengthens this effect. When others confirm the same incorrect version, confidence in the memory increases. The result is a widely shared but inaccurate recollection. Confabulation. You try to recall something, but parts of the memory are missing. Without realizing it, your brain fills in those gaps with details that seem logical. Confabulation occurs when the brain fills gaps in memory with fabricated or distorted details without the intention to deceive. When memory retrieval is incomplete, the brain generates plausible information to complete the narrative. This happens automatically, without awareness that the information is inaccurate. The brain prefers a complete explanation over acknowledging missing information. Imagination, inflation. You think about an event repeatedly, adding details each time. Eventually, it starts to feel less like imagination and more like something that actually happened. Imagination inflation occurs when repeatedly imagining an event increases the likelihood of believing it actually happened. Imagining an event activates similar neural pathways as experiencing it. With repetition, the imagined scenario becomes more detailed and familiar. Over time, the brain may struggle to distinguish between imagined and real events. This leads to a false sense of memory, where something imagined begins to feel authentic. Post-event misinformation. You witness something and later hear a slightly different version of it. Over time, your memory begins to match what you heard instead of what actually happened. Post-event misinformation occurs when memory is altered by information encountered after an event. New memories are especially vulnerable immediately after they are formed. During this period, additional details can be integrated into the original memory. If misleading information is introduced, it may be stored as part of the event. This shows that memory is flexible and can be updated, even inaccurately, based on later input. Source amnesia. You remember a fact clearly, but you cannot recall where you learned it from. It feels true, but its origin is missing. Source amnesia occurs when you remember information but cannot recall where it came from. The brain stores content separately from its origin. Over time, the link between the two weakens or disappears. This results in recalling information without context. The memory feels valid, but its reliability becomes uncertain because the source is missing. Cryptomnesia. You come up with an idea that feels original. Later, you realize it closely matches something you encountered before. Cryptomnesia is a memory error where a previously learned idea is recalled as if it were original. This happens when the brain retrieves stored information but fails to retrieve its source. Without that context, the idea feels new. This can lead to unintentional repetition or imitation. The brain presents recycled information without recognizing it as such. Misattribution. You remember something clearly, but later discover that you connected it to the wrong person, place, or time. Misattribution occurs when a memory is correctly recalled but linked to the wrong context. Memory components are stored separately and later reconstructed. During reconstruction, these elements can be combined incorrectly. This results in accurate details being associated with incorrect circumstances. Flashbulb memory glitch. You recall a major emotional event with vivid detail. It feels sharp and precise, as if nothing about it could be wrong. Flashbulb memories are vivid recollections of emotionally intense events. However, despite their clarity, these memories are still reconstructed over time. As they are revisited, details can shift while confidence remains high. This creates a mismatch between how accurate the memory feels and how accurate it actually is. Memory decay. You try to recall something you have not thought about in a long time. The details are faded, incomplete, or missing entirely. Memory decay is the gradual weakening of memory over time. Memories require reinforcement through retrieval to remain strong. Without use, the neural connections weaken, making the memory harder to access. The information is not erased, but it becomes less accessible. Overwriting. You remember something one way, but over time, small details begin to change without you noticing. Overwriting occurs when memories are altered during recall and storage. Each time a memory is retrieved, it becomes flexible. New information can be added, and existing details can be modified. Over repeated recalls, the memory may shift significantly from its original form. Chunking errors. You try to remember a sequence of information, but parts of it get mixed up or rearranged incorrectly. Chunking is a method the brain uses to group information into manageable units. While this improves efficiency, errors can occur if chunks are formed or recalled incorrectly. This leads to inaccuracies in the reconstructed information. The brain simplifies data, but simplification can introduce mistakes. Repressed memories. There are experiences you cannot consciously recall, even though they may have occurred. Repressed memories are memories that are unconsciously blocked from awareness, often due to their association with distress. The brain restricts access as a protective mechanism. These memories remain stored but are not easily accessible. If they resurface, they may not be fully accurate due to reconstruction over time.